Welcome back to the channel, guys. Well, today we've got another comparison video. We have young Mossy with us. Oh, not so young.
I haven't been called young for a while.
Today we're here to compare a couple of absolute stonking bikes. My Honda Hornet SP against the GSX-S1000. Now, this bike is, the GSX-S is probably the closest competitor to the Hornet. They've both the similar sort of price. The Honda's actually slightly cheaper, but same sort of power, 150 horsepower, 120 Newton meters of torque. So it should be quite an interesting video, mate, to see how these compare. The Suzuki, we both went on the launch of this, mate, didn't we?
Road and track,
Road and track, yeah. Rather soggy in the afternoon, if I remember.
It was a bit, and I had a memorable reason for that being a launch to stand out, but we'll come to that later.
A couple of SP30s.
Yes.
So if you're interested in a little bit of naked sports bike action, this could be the video for you. So set yourself down, make yourself comfortable, and chop in. Roll that intro. So here are the motorcycles. So first of all, got to say a bit of a shout out to Bikesure because Mossy doesn't have his own bike insurance, because he has long-termers, being one of those journalistic fellows. He doesn't have his own insurance, so Bikeshore's actually covered us for him to ride my Hornet on the limited period, just for a week. So massive thanks to Bikesure. And one of the things with Bikesure is they're really great at doing all sorts of insurance. So if you've got a modified bike or you need limited time cover, then Bikesure can really sort you out with all that. So for all your insurance needs, I'll put a link below to Bikesure. Give them a ring, get a quote. So the GSX-S, we both rode that on the launch, didn't we? And I think we did did we do a hill climb event? It was like a hill climb circuit
we did,
wasn't it?
A place called, is it Harewood Hill or something?
Harewood Hill, something like that. There's a video on that, which I'll link to the top actually. And then we had a road ride, which was rather soggy, if I remember rightly.
I wish not to recollect that ride, if you don't mind.
There may have been some boys in blue as part of that.
There may have been, I think there was.
Your licence is still suffering, but we won't go there. So this is my Hornet, my own bike. It's a few tiny mods to this, you know, just cosmetic, tail tidy, exhaust hanger, different mirrors, but apart from that, it's 100% stock, plus some R&G goodies on it as well, but it's 100% stock apart from that. But the tyres have been changed. So this has got some Metzler Road Tech 02s, which I have done a track day on at Anglesey. But apart from that, completely stock. The GSX-S is bone stock, apart from they fitted the little optional Akropovich, little funky little Akropovich, but I don't think that makes too much difference to the actual volume of the bike. It's more of a weight saving and a cosmetic changes, but it's a good looking bike, isn't it?
Good looking bike, but I'd prefer it in a different colour scheme, and same with the Honda. Now, if there's ever a bike that screams out to want red, white and blue Honda colours and just be a bit racy, I think this is it. You know, it's like a supermodel in a bloody scabby bathrobe to me. It's just, I don't know, you know, SP, just shout special. Let's have some paint.
Well, you've got gold forks, mate, and
yeah,
gold wheels.
Listen, it's a good-looking bike. I just think it'd be way better with a bit of colour, you know.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. So should we jump on them, mate? So I'll jump on mine, you jump on the S,
yep,
and let's go for a spin. So I've had my Hornet I've had this probably 4 or 5 months now. 966 miles, so, you know, not running for long. Like I say, I've done a track day. I've been enjoying the bike, but being a 6'2" fatty, I find it a little bit cramped, and the tank's very wide, so the ergos don't work. I also find it a little bit low as well, mate. You'll love it because it's great for shorties, so I think you're going to get on fine with it. But I just find it a little bit low, and on track, the pegs kept touching down. You know, it's not really a track bike, but then the suspension's very firm, so I'm really interested to see how the Suzuki compares to this. How are you finding the Suzuki so far, Mossy?
Good. Like I say, the fun factor with naked bikes is just immediately apparent to me. I quite like, it's strange, what ultimately limits the performance of them is the strength of your arms, because you get all the wind pressure. but that also gives you an impression of speed that quite a few fully faired bikes don't, because you're just sort of cocooned in the serenity, aren't you, that just is very deceptive.
Right, let's pull over, mate, where we can, because I'm really keen to see what that GSX-S is like to ride.
I might not be willing to hand it over. Have you ever thought of that?
So, yeah, keen to jump on this, mate. So how you found it so far? Quite enjoyed it?
This is not quite as versatile as I need a bike to be, but yeah, good fun. This is the sort of Sunday afternoon bike, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
But have lots of fun on it. I mean, motor's good and grunty, makes a nice noise. I've sort of warmed to the styling, if not the colour scheme. I mean, blue wheels, I don't know.
Oh, I like a bit of blue wheels. I like coloured wheels. It's a pain in the arse. Well, a man who cleans his bike once a year is not going to like any sort of coloured wheels.
Not that often. Steady. Let's not get rash about this bike cleaning procedure.
Straight away, I can tell you this does feel a little bit less agile, but a little bit bigger.
It's not rubbish though, is it, in terms of its sort of flickability?
No, it's definitely thinner. I'm having to spread my legs. It's very wide, the tank on the Hornet, very wide. It's, even though you're both straight fours, it's not as wide on the Suzuki for sure.
How big is the tank then?
The Suzuki tank is actually 19 litres, so it's actually got a huge tank. I think the Hornet's 17, so even though the Hornet's got a wider tank, I think it's actually smaller capacity than the Suzuki, which has a thinner tank.
It depends, it's all dictated by the size of the airbox underneath, isn't it?
Yeah, it does feel nice, the Suzuki. Maybe a little bit more relaxed feeling, potentially. Obviously, I've spent more time on the Hornet, so I could sort of draw a comparison quicker, obviously, than what you can. But I know the suspension on the Hornet is quite, I found it almost a bit too jarring at times. It's sort of almost too sporty.
Have you had a play with it at all?
I've had a little play and I've backed it off a little bit, and I still find it a bit too jarring.
Right, here's a key question. This is a Honda, but it strikes me as though it's got potential, at least, not to be boring. I mean, boring, it's a harsh word. They're just a bit too polished, aren't they? And composed, and all the edges have been smoothed off, and as a result it just seems like I don't know, a bit too sanitised. You can't say that about that Suzuki. It's got attitude. Yeah, this feels non-Honda to me.
I tell you, the seat feels comfortable on this. I find the ergo's not overly comfortable on the Hornet, if I'm honest. But I think there's more. Being a bigger guy, there's more space on this. The seat is a bit wider and a bit more padding there. The bar position feels very similar.
You need a man up, mate.
The riding position feels very similar as well, doesn't it? They're very similar riding position actually. Peg height and everything. Leg position feels similar. Just a bit less wide in the middle. And a more comfortable seat, I would say, on the Suzuki. I think the Suzuki wins from a comfort point of view, especially for a big fatty anyway. The brakes aren't as good. I just went on the brakes a bit faster, and there's nowhere near as much bite as what there is on the Hornet. Yeah, this feels very nice actually. There's nothing wrong with the Suzuki. What do you think, Mossy? What do you think so far?
I think fun. Yeah, the motor's quite different, isn't it? It's got a level of flexibility, but it pays to rev it, I think. There's a nice, exciting pickup, whereas the Suzuki just builds really in quite a linear fashion. Super usable, but yeah, I think I like the pickup in this, and the quicker steering gives it a racier feel as well. Like I say, it's a bit non-Honda for me.
Yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it?
It shouldn't be this much fun.
It goes all right. Yeah, I think if the pace really picks up, you're probably going to start wallowing around a little bit on this, whereas on the Hornet, I think you'll be a bit more composed.
I quite like the rawness of them. I like the fact that you're feeling the wind. I don't know, you seem a bit more connected with the bike. This, I don't know, I'm getting, this is a proper ride, it's a rider's bike, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. That's when I test rode it, that's what I said actually. I think in my first review, I said it's very much a rider's bike.
It's a visceral experience, isn't it? Right, let's go shopping. Quite good roll on there in big gear.
Right, let's have a swap back then, mate. You go back, jump back on that.
Just let me absorb my experience.
Absorb away, absorb away.
If I had to identify the manufacturer because it didn't have any giveaways like the wing there, I certainly wouldn't say it's a Honda, and I think that's a good thing.
That's a compliment, yeah. It's got definitely a sporty edge, isn't it? Definitely a sporty edge.
But just a bit of attitude as well. The sound, just the steering speed. No, good. I'd like to ride that more.
Do that. I'll just give you the clap, mate. Hang on.
I don't want the clap. Thank you very much. I've just had a very disturbing train of thought there, dear me. Move on.
Straight away jumping on this, I can feel the road much more. I can feel every little bump in the tarmac, and you've got a lot more feedback. It is more agile as well, isn't it? It is definitely a bit more agile, but it's not bad, the Suzuki. What's your first impressions again, jumping back on that?
Well, it's got it's bigger, isn't it? It sort of feels. It's bigger and feels weightier because the steering isn't as quick. Quite different bikes, aren't they? Like the gruntiness of the motor. By the same token, because you don't, it's a bit less involving the engine. It's a bit twist and go because the power and torque is so broadly spread. I beg your pardon. But it pays to rev that a bit, doesn't it? Whereas you don't need to quite as much with this one. It's a lazier engine, I think.
Yeah, that could be due to the gearing, perhaps. I know they have geared this down quite a lot, Honda, just to make it a bit more livelier. Because that's another thing, you know, Hondas of the past were always a little bit over-geared, weren't they? Their sports bikes were sort of a bit tool-geared for me. And Suzuki tended to get that right. And I think with the Hornet, Honda have got that gearing perfect, I think, on this. And it will still cruise at 90 at like 6,000 revs. You could do 70 at sort of 4.5. So even though they have played with the gearing, it's still decent enough when you do go on the motorway.
I could let it go right down now to 40. I mean, we're coming into a 30. Right, from 30 mile an hour, top gear, full throttle, loads of pull.
Let's do a pull on that in a minute. I'll tell you what, we'll do that. We'll do a comparison on the pull when we come out of this 30.
From an arse gyro point of view, I'm going to back the Suzuki. Whether it turns out like that, I don't know. On paper, it does have a little bit more torque, the Suzuki, as well. It does have more torque, that engine. Honestly, spec sheets, I don't like. From the power and torque point of view, that they tell you, it's like a book's cover only. It's all very well said, oh, it makes more power, but it depends at what RPM. It depends how the rest of it is spread. The arse gyro is the only measure of that, I think.
I completely agree, mate, and that is a very, very good point.
You know, it's no good if there's a load of power, but you have to rev the shit out of it to get it.
Come alongside
okay,
me. We'll do a pull. Ready then?
From what? Yeah. Go on.
3, 2, 1, go.
Top gear, yeah?
Yeah, but you're probably 50 kilos lighter than me. Let's do that in fourth. Let's do it again in top gear at 40. Let's do that again, because that's quite interesting.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm still
40.
Beating you, I'm still beating
40.
you. I'm still beating you.
3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, you're pulling stronger all the way through. But we'll try that again when we swap bikes, because the power to weight makes a huge difference with a big fatty on this.
Like I say, I mean, this is a lazier, gruntier motor, but there's something to be said for having to change gear or it being worth changing gear. I don't quite know where my heart lies on motors like that. I do like stuff that just always responds without too much effort.
Yeah.
Good impression. Listen, they're quite different motorbikes, but they arrive at a very similar sort of level of entertainment factor, I think. Yeah, well, when I was talking about the refinement of that, I just think this headlight area looks a bit homemade to me. It looks like a bit of a special, if you like. Whereas that looks like a proper production bike.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, looks-wise, I think the Hornet does look better. I think it definitely looks better.
More stylish face.
Yes.
That looks to me as though it used to be a fully furred bike that somebody's crashed and made the best from. And I don't want to be too disparaging by saying that, but it doesn't have that.
No. It's a proper Street Fighter sort of look, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you say, sports bike.
It's a deliberate style, you know, they wanted to do that.
It looks very sort of front heavy as well, the styling. It's very bulky and sort of quite front heavy like that, isn't it?
It's a bit
bulldoggy or something.
You want Sam? If I beat you on this, you need to go to the gym, or you need to join the gym from tomorrow morning.
You will definitely beat me on that. I guarantee it, mate. You'll be surprised the difference it makes. If I beat you, then I'll buy you a pint.
Things that will never happen.
In top gear?
Yeah, top gear.
3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, it's the same really. See, power to weight, you see? Power to weight.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what the torque curves are like, it's what the belly curves are like ultimately, isn't it?
It does, yeah. Exactly. How do you find the quick shifter on that? Because the quick shifter's a bit, it's like the shift is too slow and it's a bit jerky. I just want to see what the quick shifter's, there we go, we're clear now. Yeah, it's definitely better on the Suzuki, the quick shifter. This is bumpy, isn't it? This is oh God, are your teeth still in after that bumpy bit of road?
Not that bad, but I hear what you're saying, This is altogether a livelier motorcycle, isn't it, in all regards? And that has its pros and cons.
Go on, what's your view then? I think the Hornet's a bit more focused and maybe a bit more uncomfortable. Because of my size, maybe that's more apparent, but what's your take then?
Not that. Honestly, I just think that they're both naked 4-cylinder bikes. I think the overwhelming difference for me is the sort of livelier, sportier feel of this. I take your point, it's not as comfortable.
Yeah, but I think that the Suzuki, well, for a guy of my size, 6'2", 20 stone, I'm a bit cramped on the Hornet. There's definitely a bit more spacious on the Suzuki, and the seat is a bit wider.
You're a freak of nature, that's your problem. It's the rider problems, not bike problems. It is a roomier motorbike, isn't it, the Suzuki?
It is, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah, I just think for that fun point of view, I do like this sort of racier, keener, just more spirited feel of this Honda. And I mean, can you believe I'm saying that about a Honda?
I know. You wouldn't have thought it, would you? You wouldn't have thought it. There's a definite sort of change of direction with that, isn't there? And that bike costs £10,000 and it's got Öhlins shock. You know, what you get for the money is really quite incredible.
It's too firm though. It doesn't feel like Öhlins to me. I wouldn't describe it as crashy as such, but it's too firm. The settings are too firm for road use. And normally, with very good suspension, you get plushness and a bit of support and control. This doesn't feel like fancy suspension to me, and if it is, it's been set inappropriately.
I completely agree, and I think, you know, I think if I were to keep that bike, because I'm not decided whether I'm going to keep it or not, but you definitely need, well, I would definitely want a trip to a suspension specialist to let them have a look at it, perhaps revalve it, and just do a proper setup, because it is just a bit too crashy, isn't it? And you're absolutely right. Normally, if you're on Öhlins, it's supportive, but it's also plush. It's missing the plushness to the ride.
No, it's wrong. I mean, I just deliberately went, oh, this is a bumpy back road, isn't it?
It is bumpy, but it's
It's a
fine
bit
on the Suzuki though. I can feel the bumps, but it's not uncomfortable on it. I think it was probably a bit uncomfortable on that, isn't it, over that?
Uncomfortable's too strong a word, but I think it would irritate me after a while. Or it's certainly something that you're going to have to make allowances and sort of forgive it for. I mean, you can ride, as we discovered at that track that we rode round at the launch of the GSX-S, it's supportive enough to go fast. See this road here? This road's knackered, isn't it? And it won't get on my nerves after a while, this Hornet. I mean, that is so non-Honda as well. I mean, have the designers had a few nights out on the circuit and decided, yeah, let's give it large, let's build some exciting, focused, hard-edged motorbikes.
I know, and I think on the launch, that's why everyone was so surprised, because they just really weren't expecting that. I think with the Suzuki as well, one thing Suzuki I think do very well is they set their suspension up. You know, obviously it's not the best suspension in the world, they're working to a budget, but they always get it set up, I think, really well, when it works with a different variety of size and shapes of riders as well. I think that's one of the Suzuki's strong points.
It's a Suzuki trait, that, isn't it? You very rarely get stuff that is just wrong.
And the standard Hornet is a bit more like the Suzuki, to be fair. It's a little bit more racy than the Suzuki, but it's sort of in the middle, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think the SP, they've just gone a little bit too... Whether it is just, you could twiddle that out if you're getting spanners out, perhaps. I have tried, but it's still quite harsh. But I don't know, I think it's worth spending a bit of money and getting it set up, because it's a relatively cheap bike. You could spend 500 quid and you could get it set up perfectly.
I think we should be more critical than that. You shouldn't need to. Oh, fucking hell. Right, I'm just going to give this large once we get through here.
Give it large, mate.
Good, exciting engine.
The brakes are good on that though, aren't they? Oh god, that was a big old bump I just went over on this. I'm glad I didn't do that on the Hornet. I'd have had no testicles left.
I'll tell you, these roads are just the job for these bikes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just feels so easy to chuck about this. Have you ever got it flighty at all, John?
Flighty? No,
right,
it's been a while.
Junction
Whoa,
here.
The ABS works on this.
God, they feel really light, manageable, don't they?
Yeah, this felt like I was sort of having to push it around a little bit there, because that was really, really bumpy as well, wasn't it? So the suspension was getting a little bit out of shape on this then.
Yeah, I think the faster you go on this, the more suitable the suspension deals with stuff.
So a bit of a roll on in second then, mate. You count it in.
3, 2, 1, go!
That was pretty close. I think by the time we factor in the fatty factor, I think the Hornet might have it. Let's do it one more time.
Yeah, did you start catching me?
No, but I wasn't far behind at all. Second gear, 20 mile an hour. We're both in sport mode. You count it in, mate.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, my wheel came up as I went into second, and then the wheelie control kicked in, and the whole bike ground to a halt. When the wheelie control kicks in on this, it's really aggressive, and it just kills the whole bike. It just goes, bleh. But I think we got it. I think this is closer than I thought, and I think when we swap, I think you're going to obliterate me, or you're going to be a lot faster. Let's swap bikes and try it again.
I mean, it's a bad day when a very good bike isn't enough. It is a very good motorbike, but that's a very good motorbike with a hint of
hoonage.
This has got seasoning, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's your bog standard steak.
That's a bit of salt.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is the Suzuki needs salt. That's what you're saying, is it?
It just, like I say, I mean, I feel unfair by being critical of it, because it is really good.
Well, you ready? You count it in again.
Second, yeah?
Second.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, much. You've beaten me by a considerable margin there compared to last time. So the Hornet is definitely a bit more lively off the throttle. Let's do it one more time just to confirm.
I mean, I'm going to win on everything, aren't I? Because I'm
You
lighter.
are, but it's how much you're winning by is how we tell.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Right, you ready?
How much faster it is.
3, 2, 1, go!
Did the wheelie control do its thing to you then?
It did, yeah, it did. I mean, if I call this, you know, your sort of honest, solid, dependable, know where you stand type bike, will that, do you think, qualify it in the fashion that I want to?
Yeah.
It doesn't have quite the same sort of buzz that does, but that is not to detract from what it can offer.
Yeah.
Still a bloody good motorbike.
Yeah.
But there's just something about that, isn't there? Just, you know, that little X factor.
It's definitely got the X factor. When you want to push on and go a bit quicker, that delivers that little bit extra, doesn't it?
It's the style in which,
Yeah.
listen, you can go fast on that thing.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
a very,
Yeah.
very effective
Yeah.
tool. It feels it feels sort of relatively understated, doesn't
Yeah,
it? I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
believe, in a comparison between a Suzuki and a Honda, we're almost describing the other bike, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're saying the Honda's got some sort of thrill and excitement about it, and a real sort of reward and endearment from its thrilling nature. You'd think we must be talking about the Suzuki.
You really would. It's a surprise, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
definitely a departure from the normal sort of Honda
Oh, completely.
philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know?
great that it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of very, very accomplished, sorted, but ultimately quite dull personality in a lot of Honda motorcycles.
Yeah.
It's their trait. Somebody once said, you know, we designed them to be ridden easily by everyone.
Ah.
You know, they sort of try to tick as many boxes as possible, and they seem to forget that one that says the wow factor box. It doesn't really get addressed, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But that has definitely got wow factor. I like the way the engine makes its power. It's flexible, it'll pull big gears,
Yeah.
but when you spin it up a bit, you definitely get a return
the front gets
for your
nice
effort.
and light as well.
Yeah,
About
just-
8,000 revs.
You know, there's a rush to it.
Yeah.
And when you steer into that corner, it does so really quite quickly, accurately. That's good. It's got a greater level of stability, you could argue. There's a level of composure on that doesn't have because the suspension's a bit too firm.
And it's not perfect, is it? It's not perfect, and we've picked up on it straight away. You know, that suspension feedback is a bit harsh, and it's something which is, as an owner, it's now starting to get on my tits.
It's just a bit out of character. you
Yeah,
know?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a setup, whether you can adjust it. I think it's definitely worth taking it to someone who really knows what they're doing. Let them look at it and sort of say, well, you know, this is set wrong. I mean, I haven't set up the sag, but I mean, we're completely different sizes, and you're coming back to the same conclusion as me, aren't
not
you?
quite right.
Yeah,
you know?
there's
It
something
just
not quite
doesn't
right.
have the compliance that does.
No.
And, you know, Britain's roads are not quite the smooth things
No.
they once were.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a shortcoming, I really do.
Yeah, but it's not to say that couldn't be addressed with a twiddle.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have to be.
No,
it
no,
should
it
be right,
should- it's not
especially if
right,
this
yeah.
is the bike with the fancy suspension. Right, have you ridden on really good trick stuff, particularly all-in stuff?
Yeah.
There's a plushness to it and a level of support, you know.
Yeah.
That doesn't have that. That feels like cheap suspension in terms of its action.
Yeah, and the Suzuki definitely feels plusher, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
definitely a nicer ride.
Yeah.
When you push on, that's got the advantage.
Yeah.
But I think there's too much of a sacrifice
Yeah.
of the everyday ride for that little bit extra you get when you're pushing on.
I was prepared to make allowances originally because I liked the bike so much, but I think, like you, over the course
Yeah.
of a long day, every time I started going over some of the rougher stuff, I'd make a contribution to me swear box.
I was going to say, if you had to ride that home, your swear box would be full by the
it
time
would,
you got home.
I'd need panniers. Let's have a few words about this, though. That's getting all the attention, and that's not quite right. I think, right, the motor is quite a bit gruntier.
Yeah.
It's certainly worthy of lots of praise, but it just doesn't quite have that, doesn't give you that same sort of rush, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't have doesn't have the wow factor, does it?
Yeah.
That you
Great
get on that.
engine.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing on this, I think, which really stands out as being fantastic.
Yeah.
It's all very good, and it's a bit like you said on the V-Strom video, though. Those 8 out of 10s add up to something greater amount, but there's no 10 out of 10 elements to this bike. Well, I think the Hornet, the brakes and the front end are perhaps a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But this is still a very good composed bike, and if you can only afford one bike, then I think out of the two, I think I would take the Suzuki, because the Honda's brilliant for a Sunday morning thrash around, and then as long as you're getting off it after an hour, having a break. But if you want to do something where you've got to do a bit more distance on, you want to do a bit of touring on, as it is, it's too harsh to do that, and you'd just absolutely be a
Do you think that's more real world?
I think this is more real world.
More comfortable for you, roomier?
Yeah, as a taller rider, there's definitely more space on this. The tank is really wide on the Hornet. You have to really splay your legs out, and the seat's quite tight. It's not much padding. You can see the padding in it.
I'm all right on either one of them.
You're happy. But it's wider, there's more padding. There's just a bit more space to move back and forward on, which you haven't got on the, you're a bit locked in on the Hornet. I mean, the riding positions feel similar, the bar widths feel the same, the peg heights feel similar, but this is just definitely more comfortable if you're a bit taller and a bit fatter.
Yeah, it's a good, honest, solid, dependable, sort of redeeming sort of motorbike that just doesn't quite have that je ne sais quoi that does. And that is of great value, isn't it? You don't see that on any spec sheet, do you?
No, exactly.
Quite different personalities.
Yeah.
That's just a bit more in your face. Again, I'm amazed that I'm saying that about a Honda when I'm making reference to a Suzuki. Just didn't expect to find it quite as endearing as it is,
So if it's my only bike, I'd take the Suzuki. What about you? If you had to pick one of these to ride home on, and you had a massive swear box.
They've got quite a lot of virtues, don't they? Each one of them.
The pros and cons are sort of quite even, aren't they? If you were to look at them and write them all down, I'm sure. But go on, you've got to make a decision. We're not turning that camera off till you've made a decision, mate. Which one you're having?
I'm going to go for the Honda because it gives me a bit more of a buzz. But I would be more than happy to spend time on that. If you offered me each as a long-termer, I wouldn't be disappointed.
So there we go, mate. I think that is about it. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's always great to have Mossy along, and we will be having him along again quite soon. I think of other comparisons. I've got the little 660 Daytona Triumph coming, and we can maybe do the same thing, but with the GSX-R8.
Whatever
it's called.
Big
So we could do a maybe little middleweight sports bike comparison if you're up for that, mate. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you're not already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, like, all that jazz. Keep the YouTube gods happy, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Bye now.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Well, today I'm recording a comparison video again. Let's start again now.
Don't let on that
we fucked it up.
We fucked up. This is
we
take
messed
2.
It up. Take 300.
Yeah, it is fucking take 300.
Welcome back.
Am I on an hourly rate? If I am, I'm fucking loaded. We're all going to Vegas on my Learjet tomorrow.